Chip Foose's journey began in a place where engines, sparks, and the smell of paint were part of everyday life. Born into a family where cars were more than just machines, Chip's childhood was shaped by his father, who was a highly skilled craftsman. His father's workshop was like a playground to him, filled with tools, frames, and half-finished projects. While other children spent weekends playing outside, Chip was surrounded by metal, chrome, and creativity. From an early age, he learned not only how to use tools, but also the value of patience, balance, and discipline. At just 7 years old, his father trusted him with small responsibilities, paying him 17 cents an hour for his work. Although the pay was symbolic, it taught Chip respect for labor and responsibility. By the age of 12, his skills had grown so much that he was able to complete his first professional paint job on a Porsche 356, a task that many adults would find difficult. His upbringing was not just about building cars. It was about building character. Those lessons from his father laid the foundation for a career that would later change the custom car industry forever. Despite his talent and a home filled with creativity, Chip's childhood was also marked by a tragedy that deeply affected him. One of his siblings, his sister, was born with a rare medical condition that caused her to age faster than normal. She was full of spirit and energy, but her health struggles were always present in the family's life. Sadly, she passed away when she was only 16 years old. This loss brought a silence to the household that was heavier than any words could describe. For Chip, it was a life-changing moment. He did not speak much about her death, but those who knew him understood how much it shaped his outlook on life. The tragedy taught him how short and fragile life could be, and it gave him an urgency to create before time ran out. Many people believe that Chip quietly included tributes to his sister in some of his car designs, using hidden curves or lines that only he fully understood. He also became a quiet donor to medical research related to her condition. For him, this was not about recognition but about remembrance. This personal loss became a driving force behind his determination and shaped the emotional depth that he carried into his work. As Chip grew older, his love for design pushed him to dream bigger. In 1982, despite financial struggles, he enrolled at the prestigious Art Center College of Design in California. This was more than just school for him. It was a chance to turn imagination into real industrial design. But dreams often come with challenges. Just 2 years later, financial problems forced him to drop out, leaving him disappointed and questioning his future. He took on different jobs, working at Clean Coachworks and doing small freelance illustration projects to survive. This period of his life was not about growth, but about survival. He faced doubts and constant setbacks. What changed everything was his partner, Lynn, who believed in his potential even when he struggled. Through her support, both emotional and financial, Chip returned to the Art Center, determined not to fail again. In 1990, he graduated with honors. That diploma was not just a certificate. It was a turning point. It gave him the confidence and the doorway into the professional world he had always dreamed of. After graduation, Chip began working at Hot Rods by Boyd, under the legendary Boyd Coddington. This partnership was the start of his rise to fame. At first, he was just another designer, but soon his unique vision set him apart. He had a special sense of proportion, balance, and style. By 1993, he had become the company's design director, and later its president. Together, they created iconic cars like the Boydster and Boydster II, which earned praise from across the automotive industry. Chip's designs were modern yet timeless, and people began to talk about the Boyd look, which was heavily influenced by his ideas. In 1997, Chip was inducted into the Hot Rod Hall of Fame at SEMA, making him the youngest person ever to receive that honor. But behind the shiny cars and awards, the company was struggling financially. By 1998, Hot Rods by Boyd went bankrupt. For Chip, this was more than just the collapse of a company. It was also the painful breaking of a mentorship. He chose to leave and start fresh. But the silence between him and Boyd lasted for years. When Boyd passed away in 2008, Chip never made a public statement, leaving fans to wonder about the unspoken emotions between mentor and student. After leaving Boyd's company, Chip and a few loyal team members founded Foose Design in Huntington Beach, California. Starting with almost nothing, he built the workshop into one of the most respected custom car shops in the world. Each car was not just a project but a story. People admired not only the beauty of his designs but also the meaning behind them. Foose Design became a symbol of resilience, showing that independence could be forged from hardship. For some, it was proof of a phoenix rising from the ashes of Boyd's downfall. For others, it was an act of quiet rebellion. But for Chip, it was simply survival turned into success. His work gained worldwide recognition through television shows, magazines, and auto exhibitions. His designs were praised for their elegance, proportion, and timeless appeal. What set him apart was his belief that design was not just about power or speed, it was about storytelling. To him, cars were moving sculptures, carrying emotion and history in their lines and curves. Chip's fame reached its peak when he became the face of the TV show, Overhaulin. The show introduced him to millions of viewers worldwide, turning him into a household name. Fans admired his creativity and the dramatic transformations he achieved on cars within short deadlines. However, the show also brought new challenges. Fame, Chip discovered, was not a shield but a magnifying glass. Every success was celebrated, but every delay or flaw was also criticized. The strict filming schedules clashed with his natural attention to detail, creating pressure for him and his team. They often worked late nights to meet deadlines while still trying to keep the quality high. Friends later said that although he smiled for the cameras, behind the scenes he was often exhausted. For someone who had always valued patience and craftsmanship, the television spotlight sometimes turned his passion into a performance. Still, the show cemented his legacy and introduced custom car culture to a much wider audience. While Chip was achieving fame, his family was quietly making sacrifices. His wife, Lynn, had been by his side since his early struggles, and her belief in him never faded. She not only helped support his education, but also held the family together while he worked long hours. Raising children while running a growing design empire was no easy task. Many nights, Chip would work late into the night, sketching and refining designs, while precious family moments passed by. He rarely spoke publicly about these personal sacrifices, but those close to him knew how heavy the burden was. At home, he was not the celebrated designer that fans saw on television. He was a husband and father trying to balance passion with family responsibilities. These hidden sacrifices, combined with the tragedies he had faced earlier in life, added layers to his story that went far beyond awards and recognition. Chip's influence was not limited to America. His work was admired across the world. In Japan, collectors praised the precision of his designs, while in Europe, his cars were studied for their balance of tradition and innovation. His belief was simple, yet powerful. Innovation must respect tradition, and tradition must evolve through imagination. This philosophy allowed him to create designs that were timeless rather than trendy. His cars felt like a bridge between the past and the future. He also believed strongly in teamwork, always crediting his staff and collaborators for their contributions. Despite being the face of Foose Design, he never claimed success as his alone. His humility earned him even more respect in the automotive community. Beyond cars, Chip quietly supported charities and medical research, never seeking attention for his giving. To him, true success was not only about building cars, but also about building a legacy that inspired and helped others. Today, Chip Foose's story is remembered not only for the beautiful cars he created, but also for the struggles and tragedies that shaped him. From losing his sister at a young age to facing financial collapse, he turned personal pain into motivation. From being forced to leave college to later graduating with honors, he proved resilience. From breaking ties with a mentor to building his own empire, he showed independence. His story is not just about cars. It is about determination, sacrifice, and legacy. For young designers and dreamers, Chip's journey is a reminder that success is never easy, and that true greatness comes not from avoiding struggles but from overcoming them. His life reflects the idea that even in silence, and even in tragedy, there can be strength. The roar of the engines he designs is more than just mechanical power. It is the sound of resilience, legacy, and a man who never gave up, no matter the cost. Fame is a dream for many, but for Chip Foose it often felt like a heavy weight. When Overhaulin became a huge success, millions of people admired his work. Fans recognized him everywhere he went, and many of them wanted a piece of his time. While this sounds flattering, it also took away from his privacy and peace. Chip was no longer just a designer. He was now a public figure. Every decision he made was under a spotlight, and every mistake could be magnified. Behind the cameras, the pressure was intense. The schedule was exhausting. Long days at the shop followed by filming, interviews, and events. Many nights, Chip barely slept, and instead of resting, he worked on drawings or fine details that no one else noticed. This endless demand slowly pulled him away from his family, creating moments of guilt. He knew his wife and children needed him, but so did the show, the fans, and the clients. That inner conflict became one of the hardest struggles of his life. It was not about designing cars anymore. It was about balancing dreams with reality, art with responsibility, and fame with love. Chip's success came at a price that few people could see from the outside. For every applause and award, there were sacrifices hidden in the background. He missed birthdays, school events, and quiet dinners at home. His family, though supportive, often had to share him with the world. Chip himself rarely spoke about these struggles. Instead, he carried them silently, focusing on the work that defined him. In interviews, he smiled and spoke about cars, designs, and creativity. But deep inside, there was an awareness of everything he had given up. This silence was not weakness. It was his way of coping. He chose to protect his loved ones from the weight of his burden. While the world celebrated his masterpieces, only a few people knew how much personal energy was poured into them. Chip's story shows that success is never free. It always comes with trade-offs. His dedication to his craft gave him a global reputation, but it also left scars that only he and his family could truly understand. Even with all the struggles, Chip Foose built a legacy that went far beyond any single car. His designs are not only admired by car enthusiasts, but also studied by students and young designers who dream of following his path. Chip became a symbol of how passion and persistence can shape a life. He proved that true art does not come from easy moments, but from battles fought in silence. Every curve, every paint job, and every detail in his creations tells a story of resilience. His work inspires people to see cars not just as machines, but as moving pieces of art. More importantly, his life teaches that greatness comes with responsibility. Chip's influence will last long after the cameras are turned off and the engines stop running. For young dreamers, his journey is both an inspiration and a warning. That success demands sacrifice, and that balance between passion and personal life is one of the hardest challenges anyone can face. It is easy to see Chip Foose only as a legend in the world of custom cars, but at the heart of his story is a man who faced grief, pressure, and self-doubt. He was not born with fame. He earned it through hard work and dedication, often while carrying heavy emotions. The loss of his sister, the fallout with Boyd Coddington, the sleepless nights building a business, all of these shaped him into who he became. Yet through it all, Chip remained humble and kind. He never let pride take over, even when his name was celebrated worldwide. That humility is what makes his story more powerful. It reminds us that heroes are not without scars. They are defined by how they carry them. Chip carried his scars quietly, turning pain into creativity and struggle into masterpieces. This human side of Chip Foose makes his legacy even more meaningful, because it shows us that behind every great achievement, there is a personal story of endurance.